What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Tasty Tuesday on Tasty Loot Gaming, the show where we talk about gaming news. My name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
And a quick reminder, make sure to play Mafia 3 and Dead by Daylight, both out for free on PlayStation Plus. Download those, play them, come back at the end of the month for Plus Club. Let us know your opinions on those games. We'll let you know ours. Also, if you are one of those people who don't have a PS4 or do not have PlayStation Plus for whatever reason, and you want to see those games, I actually have streamed both of them already. They're up on the channel, so you can watch those and join us for Plus Club. Let us know what you thought of the gameplay. And also, play Vermintide 2 if you have it, or if you have played it. That is our game of the month for this month, and we'll be talking about that at the end of the month. So same thing for that. And we are also on Spotify and iTunes. If you want to listen to us, we're on a bunch of audio platforms or podcast platforms if you'd prefer to listen to us. And if you're listening to us, make sure to check us out on YouTube at Tasty Loot Gaming. And we have Discord. Make sure to join that. Link down below. I'm fumbling through this right now just because on TastyCast, I completely forgot to mention like any of that. I was so excited that Chris was here that I was just like,
I don't remember you skipping it. That's weird.
I skipped all of it. Yeah. That's why I, like at the end of the episode, I really like explained everything because I was like, fuck, I forgot to do that. I was like, woo, Chris is sitting here. This is so exciting. But yeah, with that, we have 3 bits of news, all having to do with ARPGs, which is really interesting. But before we get into that, just another quick reminder that Spider-Man for PS4 is coming out September 7th, so very soon. And with that, we got a new gameplay launch trailer. It's only a minute long, so I figured we should watch this, react to it. We haven't watched it, I don't think.
Nope.
And then we'll get into the news. So anything you want to say before we watch this?
Apparently, I haven't been keeping tabs on this game very well because I had no idea it was coming out already.
Yeah, it's kind of slid under the radar for me too. The only reason it's on my mind is, well, obviously there was that trailer recently, but I was streaming last night and had a couple people in there and we're all talking, and somebody was asking me my anticipation of the game, essentially, which is pretty high. And then I looked it up and realized it's coming out like very soon. So I was like, wow, fucking that's cool. There's so many games out now that like you can kind of look over other game releases. It's kind of a nice surprise, even though this is a game that is going to take up a lot of my time, most likely.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. Because this is a highly anticipated game for me, and I think this potentially could sell consoles. I mean, it might really sell consoles since they're doing the PS4 Pro Spider-Man edition, so yeah. Which looked really sick. Yeah, so let's get into it.
You're Spider-Man. Look, next time leave the fighting to the pros. Okay, but what if there aren't any around? Good one.
Looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
The Kingpin.
Is there anyone left in New York who doesn't want me dead?
Nope.
Probably not, yeah.
Even the cabbie's like this fucking webbing piece of shit.
Next time you get in my way, I will not be so gentle.
Girl problems again.
Dude, the animation and mocapping is so good.
It's very good. And the cut scenes are very action-packed as well, which is really cool. That was a small-ass trailer.
That was a small trailer, but also is a gameplay trailer, and I feel like a lot of that was cinematics.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was probably in-engine, but, like, I didn't see a whole lot of game playing.
No, that was very much cherry-pick scenes, for sure.
That's kind of... I mean, I'm still very happy with it. It was very cool, but I was hoping to see, like, him doing stuff.
Yeah. Well, and they're probably running out of things they're comfortable showing, just because they showed a lot at E3. On the games,
they've actually showed quite a bit, and they still haven't shown enough for me to kind of be like, okay, that's exactly what's going to be, which is kind of like, I always appreciate that.
Yeah, me too. And that's with it coming out so soon. I think this mostly serves as just kind of a reminder
that it's coming.
Yeah, because like I said, this last E3 they showed off a whole bunch of gameplay on it, and they probably don't want to spoil too much of it, which I appreciate. So
definitely. Yeah, still really excited for it. Definitely going to pick it up as soon as possible. It's going to be really fun. Most excited I've been for a Spider-Man since Spider-Man 2. Also, a real quick thing I want to throw out there real fast. If you're watching this, Limitless Guns. Just subscribe to the channel. Welcome to the channel. Yeah, anything else you want to say on that?
No, I can't wait to see it.
Dope.
It does look dope. But Insomniac Games, you know, even with the newest Ratchet and Clank, that game was like, even though it's a very simple looking game, it was super like clean.
It's so cool to see them make it because of their imagination, but also because they haven't made a game like this. And it looks like they're like, it looks like they've done it before, because this looks so fucking like exactly what you want.
Right.
So it's crazy. All right. First bit of news.
All right. So recently on Twitter, Blizzard dropped some information saying that they are working on multiple Diablo projects right now. A quote saying, "The forges here at Blizzard are burning hot, and we have multiple Diablo projects in the works. Some of them are going to take longer than others, but we may have some things to show you later this year." It's also worth noting that a job listing was on their website for a dungeon artist, and it was for an unannounced Diablo game, so it could be a sequel, it could be a spin-off. It's really not clear right now. And they also at one point had a demonic nightlight flickering on and off on another Twitter post, and a lot of people were speculating maybe Diablo 3 is coming to Switch, and they said, "We can assure you we are not that clever." So what do we think about more Diablo coming around the corner and the fact that it's multiple projects? And are you excited to see more on it at the end of the year?
Of course, I'm excited to see more on it. I love Diablo 2, Diablo 3. I played Diablo 3 a shitload. It's been long enough that I would love to see at least an expansion if they're going that route. But it's been so long that I feel like we're getting a sequel. So I think that'd be my first bet, and I would love that. Mm-hmm. But I also love an expansion. Both of those would be perfectly okay for me.
Yeah.
Like if they announce either of those, I'm going to be excited for both of those. Which is really weird because a lot of games I want a sequel, but like nowadays we're getting into like games are so evolving that you can still get a new experience with the game you're already playing. Mm-hmm. So if they did that, that's fine. The multiple project thing is really interesting, though, because that makes me think that either it could be a new game and an expansion for this, which wouldn't make sense because it would pull away attention from one of the two. So I'm thinking, like, what could the other project be? Project's pretty vague. So, I mean, like, if they were making a Switch port, that would be a Diablo project. If they're doing like a card game or something, or some kind of mobile game with the Diablo universe, that could be a project. Those are things I would not be that excited for. I would be excited though to see them do. First and foremost, I need Diablo 4 if they're going to be doing another new Diablo game. But it'd be cool. I think we've talked about this probably before. I don't think you were too into it, but if they were going to release like a new genre in the Diablo universe, whether it be like a third-person action game or an MMO, I would be down for either of those. I think it'd be really fucking cool to experience that world in a different perspective, hopefully in a more social way, just because it has always been like a 4-player game. So right. I would love to still experience that with friends, but that'd be a really cool and refreshing way to make the fucking brand not exciting again, because it still is exciting, but breathe new life into it. That's not the first thing I would go to, but I think it'd be cool to see any of their, I mean, like back in the day they were going to do StarCraft Ghost,
right,
and that never happened, but that would have been interesting to see because they still made StarCraft too. So yeah, I'm hoping it is at least an expansion, but at this point I feel like it will be 4. The other things I have no idea on. So really excited though.
Yeah.
No matter what it is. And they said one of these things might come out later this year, or be shown later this year.
Yeah. Which would be awesome.
Which it would be soon.
It would be soon.
Yeah,
I'm with you on the excitement aspect of them just even saying that they're working on it still, because it's nice to know that they just aren't just going to write out seasons, more and more and more with Diablo 3, even though I'm sure they will continue to support it in that way, which is great.
They actually say in this article that they're still planning multiple seasons.
Right, and they're going to theme them all or whatever. But I'm with you. I'm okay with expansion or new title. I do lean more obviously towards new title, but if it's a meaty enough expansion, I don't think Diablo 3 is that outdated that it would be a bad thing, because the one thing I'd be worried about with Diablo 4 is if it felt too much like Diablo 3. I would want it to be like a whole new experience. And I know people kind of were like weirded out when Diablo 3 first came out because it didn't play exactly like Diablo 2 and stuff like that. But I kind of liked it because it makes it's a new game. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I would hope the same with Diablo 4.
And people who do want like that direct like sequel to Diablo 2, you got it with Diablo 3, but I do think that both of them have their own feeling. They almost feel like completely different ARPGs within the same universe because they play differently. And I like that because people still play Diablo 2. It's still a great game. People still play Diablo 3. It's still a great game. They do feel different, though. I always kind of equate Path of Exile to being like the actual sequel
like
to
spiritual successor,
to Diablo 2 because it has that more slow combat and more methodical and deep systems that you would expect from a game like that. But yeah, like like you were saying, you liked Diablo 3 when it came out, feeling different or whatever. So, and I agree with you 100%. I already kind of said this, but the game still does have legs for sure. And they've only released the one expansion.
Yeah, and if they are doing the expansion route with how long it's been, I would hope it'd be more than like a map and a character. I would like it to be a chunk of content.
Yeah, it feels like a huge expansion. I'd be just as excited for a new game. And I think you make a really good point when you're talking about Diablo 4 feeling like Diablo 3. It would feel wasted. You know, a little better graphics, but if it still played like Diablo 3 and pretty much looked like Diablo 3, I would just want an expansion for Diablo 3 at that point because the game is in no way outdated. That kind of gameplay, you can do small things to tweak and make it more modern feeling. I think Torchlight did some really interesting things with its pet system, but they're still the same type of game. And the game still looks fine. Those type of games age really fucking well.
They do.
Because you're so far away from the characters. It's not about the graphics, and most of the effects are light anyway. So,
yeah, it's more about like gameplay and obviously the loot.
Fuck yeah.
That's the big driving force for most people. As far as the other project goes, I'm not 100% opposed to them making a Diablo mobile game as long as they treat it carefully, because it's really easy to make microtransaction traps on phones. So I don't want to see that. I would like to see an actual Diablo game on phone.
The way you worded that makes me change my opinion, because originally when I was thinking mobile game, I was thinking like a gacha game or a card game, which would not excite me in any way. But if they made like a Diablo game for phone,
they make tons of them in Korea.
If it was like a Diablo Light or whatever, and it wasn't like really heavy on the fucking, give me your money, give me your money, I'd be down to play that. I would love to play a game like that on there. But
yeah, I mean, you could sit down on your break, grind some loot real quick, and because it's a phone game, it'd be designed for you to resume the moment you come back to it. So I mean, I don't see a bad there as long as it's treated like a game and not like a trap,
and as long as it's not their major focus, because that would be like, as a side project, I'd be like, oh, it's dope. But if it was like their big thing, I'd be like, that's pretty cool, but where's the next game or the expansion at?
Right, exactly.
It'd be disappointing in that regard.
But if they are gonna go the route of what you were saying, and they're just gonna make a Diablo universe game that is not an ARPG, I am hesitant towards that, obviously. But I'm not going to be dismissive of it, because obviously they could make the game, it could come out, and it could be amazing. So and that would be cool. Don't get me wrong. I would love something in the Diablo universe. I just worry about how maybe it might transition, or maybe they might lose the idea or the feel of Diablo in that regard. But those are mostly just like worries and not like things I think would happen.
And I feel that, but with a company like Blizzard, I don't feel like they could fuck it up.
Well, I would hope not. So.
At this point, there was a time there where they were getting, with their ideas, a little experimental, and it got kind of worrying because they're still kind of like trying to figure out what they're going to do next. But now they've released so many good things that, like, if they released some kind of third person, and like I said, not being their main priority, I think the main priority should be another ARPG of some kind. But if on the side they're working on some kind of like cinematic like experience, like story driven game where you got to see like the story of Diablo or wherever they're at in the storyline unfold in like a big scale, like hell, like atmosphere, and like I keep thinking like a third person like God of War style game where you play as like one of the classes or whatever, and all the action is in your face and all the moves are down there, whatever. I'd be really into that. I think that'd be really cool. It's not what I want first off, but I would not be opposed to that. I think it'd be really cool. Yeah. As long as the series didn't go, this is what we're doing now.
Right. No, I don't want to see that either. I do think that Diablo would also lend itself to a Soulsborne style game, and that's cool. Something that Blizzard hasn't done. So
what about a battle royal?
Yeah, let's hope not.
Yeah, MOBA.
But I mean, one of those. I mean, that's pretty much what I got when it comes to that. I mean, I'm excited to see what they're working on because they, it's been a while. And as if you've been following the channel, we're huge fans of playing ARPGs. I mean, it's in the title of the channel. The whole loot aspect. Tasty
loot. Yeah, we like loot. So. If there's a game and has random loot, I will definitely buy it. So.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, they had me at new Diablo. That's it, and I'm excited. So let us know in the comments, what do you think about multiple Diablo projects? What do you think they are? What do you want them to be? What do you not want them to be? What do you think about them straying away and doing some kind of other genre game? And if you're into that, what do you think it should be? You want a fighting game? You want a racing game? You sit on the back of Diablo, and you're like, yeah, boy, and you just go real fast.
You want a dating sim?
Diablo dating sim. I want that. Let's know everything you're thinking about when it comes to Diablo and future projects. Second bit of news. Now gone, rest in peace, Runic Games. Co-founder Max Schaefer has come out and announced through company Ectra Games that they are making Torchlight Frontiers. Torchlight was a game made by Runic. They're, like I said, gone. But the brand is apparently still alive. This would be the third game in the series, and it is going to be produced by Perfect World Entertainment, which I'm sure a lot of you guys probably know who they are, but they are a huge free-to-play MMO company, really big all over the world. They have a game called Perfect World. I mean, they're big. This game will be coming out for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. The new installment will feature a shared world where players can group up and explore dungeons and battle monsters with their friends, which is, commonplace in games like this. For anyone who doesn't know, Torchlight was an ARPG as well. The original one was single player only. The second one was multiplayer. I think it was up to 6 players. Had emphasis on leveling really fast and using pets to take your shit and sell it and come back, which I love. Fucking the Schaefer guy was quoted as saying, what we wanted to do with this one was two things. One is give you a piece of the world, make you part of this developing and evolving world in a way that's meaningful. Two is to create a service game where after we go live, we put it out and are with people. We can continue to develop the world of Torchlight with our community. They have emphasized that this is going to be more akin to an MMO, which, like I said, is not outside of Perfect World's wheelbox. And new company, same guy who worked on the original one, and a lot of people who worked on Torchlight will be working on this as well.
Also, ex-members of Blizzard North who worked on Diablo 1, Diablo 2, and Hellgate London.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So you got one of the co-founders of Runic leading it. You have people who worked on Torchlight working on it, and you have people who have worked on Blizzard games, Diablo 2, and Hellgate working on it. So that's quite the team. What do we think about a new Torchlight under a different company with some of the same people coming out through a free-to-play publisher? And what do you think about the idea of a shared universe ARPG?
So that last part is actually where I want to start. It reminds me a lot of Path of Exile in that regard.
Okay.
They're making a service game ARPG, which is what Path of Exile has done. And Path of Exile has done an amazing job at it.
Yeah. Love Path of
Exile. So hopefully they follow that idea path, because I think Path of Exile really nailed a really good balance between making you feel like you were playing like an ARPG that you bought, and then when you go to town, it's full of people, type of thing. And then you can join up and go out, 4 people onto the map. Next town, you can swap out party members, whatever. They did a really good job. But to get away from Path of Exile, the thing that worries me is Perfect World is a free-to-play MMO company. So their main focus is how do we make money?
Yep.
right? So
Well, that's anybody's focus, but
it is, but that's especially the case when it comes to these.
well,
Kind
their
of,
model
Yeah.
is looking for ways to get money from you, whereas someone else wants to trade you money for their game.
exactly.
Yeah.
So they want, no barrier of entry, and then to try to entice you. And I'm not opposed to that model. I know you're not either, but it has to be handled the right way. Otherwise, it becomes predatory, and that is my biggest concern for this, which is funny because we just got done talking about that if Blizzard were to make a mobile Diablo. I mean, that's really kind of what it comes down to with a lot of these games. If you're going to offer a service, there's plenty of people who've done it well, and we've said it a million times. Warframe is a great example.
Path of Exile
is a great example. So, I mean, it can be done, and people can enjoy your game and not feel ripped off, get a full experience out of it. So I'd like to see that. As far as if those concerns don't need to be there, I loved Torchlight 2. I am excited at the prospect of another good Torchlight game, and I hope that's what it is.
Yeah, I think it's worth mentioning that I believe you could play Torchlight 2 or buy it through Perfect World's website when it came out.
They were a publisher.
So there is a possibility that this could be a pay-for game. I don't think it will be, though, especially them buying or getting the rights to Torchlight, making a new company to work on it, and then they're talking about it being an online MMO game. I'm pretty sure this will be free to play, which kind of freaks me out because I've seen some games that were pay for that were great go free to play in their second iteration or third iteration, and it kind of changes everything. I will go back and play Dungeon Defenders anytime before I'll play Dungeon Defenders 2.
Yeah.
Because I would rather just give them the money and get the full game in a game like that with all that loot than to feel like I'm being held back because I could be getting a booster to help me get certain things faster, or this section of the game and these costumes I probably need to pay for to get to that. So something handled in that way. If they want to do a brand new game, that's fine. But like I said, if it's coming from a game that already existed as something as a game you buy and then it goes free to play, I'm not a huge fan of that. It always kind of freaks me out. But first off, am I excited for a new Torchlight? Yes, I love Torchlight. I loved the first one, and I was like, this game needs multiplayer. They made Torchlight 2, it had multiplayer. It's fucking awesome. And when I was playing that game, I was like, I need a Torchlight 3. This game is so fucking good. There's certain things about it I'd like tweaked, but I like the formula. It had its own personality, which, I mean, oddly enough, most games like this all do have their own personalities. They're all really good
They've
about
all done
differentiating.
A really good job,
Yeah. Compared to other genres, there's not as many in this genre. They all kind of hold on their own. Torchlight was a welcome, addition to that genre because it did have its own style and its own systems that made it feel different.
And mod support.
And mod support, which still keeps it alive. So yeah, I wouldn't want to tarnish the name by them releasing a free-to-play version that has paywalls or just kind of stifles the feeling of just enjoying the game by like, oh, okay, I'm getting to the point where it's going to want me to start, giving them money in some way. So, which like you said, which we say all the time, not opposed to it. Warframe, I've given them more money than I fucking care to say. Because I love the game and I don't feel like I have to. So I would really hate if they went that route. But Perfect World's been around for a long time. The company's been doing multiple MMOs for a long time. They're still very popular. So I would hope that pedigree would give them experience to know what they're doing. In fact, I think they'd know what they're doing better than a lot of companies doing this because they have, worldwide big fan base of people who love their games. But it's just alarming because of my prior experience with Torchlight and loving it so much. I would hate it feeling completely different. As for the online MMO aspect of it, I think is really interesting but unneeded for me. It's not something I was really like clamoring for, just because I one of my favorite types of games in the world is fucking a game where you can get in a server with like 3 other people and just go do shit. And then, go back to a hub, figure your shit out, sell some stuff, craft some stuff, go back out and do stuff. If they do it like Path of Exile, I assume when you go to town, you're going to see other random people, which I think is cool. Path of Exile actually does it really well.
They do.
Because you can run into like random people, I believe, too, or they can at least join an open... I've played with people I didn't know before in that game.
Yeah,
so
if you have an open group, they can.
Yeah, okay, that's probably what happened. But which I think is a cool system. It also makes the world... you feel like there's people playing it as well, which there is, but like when you're in Path of Exile and you go to a town, there's people all over the place, and it's just like
I play by myself most of the time when I play that game.
Yeah, me too. But I think they found the perfect area. I think this will be a little more multiplayer or multi-person centric though, because he does seem like he's really interested in the idea of a shared world. So I feel like you may run into other people running around and questing as well. It just seems like he's really excited about that aspect, and I think they are going to go further than Path of Exile. So that could be good, that could be bad. This game at where it's at right now is interesting, but I can't get excited for it because there's so many things that are changing with it. Not to mention Runic is gone, so I don't know who we got from Runic working on this. They could have put in people who are okay, or the people with the ideas. They might have left. I have no idea. So I'll have to wait to see gameplay until I can get really excited about it. But I am interested for sure. I'm glad to see Torchlight's not dead. I just hope I don't regret that.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say on that?
No, I think we pretty much rambled on a lot on that one.
It's funny, this episode we got a lot to say because this is kind of a genre we're really into it. Let us know in the comments, what do you think about Torchlight? Did you play the prior ones? What do you think about the new one, Frontiers? What do you think about a shared world MMO experience and ARPG? What do you think about ARPGs in general? What's your favorite one? Speaking of those, let's get into the third bit of news.
I'll say, going down the train of ARPGs here, Path of Exile is getting a expansion here soon that'll come out on the 31st of this month for PC and September 3rd for Xbox One players. It is going to add, I lost the name. Oh, there it is. Dungeon known as the Azurite Mine, which houses rare materials and lost treasures, and the material Azurite mineral, which you will be able to take up to a merchant to trade for goods. The whole idea behind this dungeon is it's going to be essentially endless. You're going to go down floors, and it'll branch off in different paths, and you pick one and you follow a mine cart, which is your only light source, and you go through, and eventually you can get to an endpoint and fight a boss, but it doesn't have to end there because you can go back up, pick one of the paths you didn't take, and keep exploring. This is accessible for people starting in the beginning of the game in Act 1, but they do emphasize that you are going to hit a wall eventually and will need to go and actually level up and stuff to continue through here. Let's see if there's anything else here that I missed. They are also... Where'd it go? Improvements have been adding new class builds, for instance, a new skill Smite for the Templar, attack enemies and buff at the same time, and a rare Ultra Time Worm Reliquary. What is that word?
Reliquary.
Keys, which will open portals to chests and yielding unique rewards. What do we think about the new expansion and the feature they're adding?
It's interesting because it doesn't, aside from like what you read just now, it doesn't sound like they're adding a whole lot other than that dungeon, but that's cool because the idea of having what I would assume to be an end game thing adds something for people who have pretty much done all the acts or whatever. They have something to go do over and over again and keep going further and further to get gear, or at least whatever gear that's offered there, since you're using a currency. But I think it's really cool. I think it's really interesting that people in Act 1 can do it. Maybe that's to make it exciting for people who just started playing the game, but obviously you're not going to get very far because it's meant to be, I'm assuming, challenging as you get further and further. Yeah. But I'm not sure how I feel about that because, like I said, it feels like it should be something that's end game or at least mid game. But I think it's cool. It's just more stuff to do. I don't know. I haven't played it in a while, so I got a lot of stuff to catch up on in that game. But so you just gain materials and you buy new equipment.
Yeah, and it gets darker and darker the further down you go. It gets more dangerous.
That's interesting.
See, even right here, it says, while a low-level character can make progress, they're going to hit a wall where they need to become stronger to overcome the odds. And then, yeah, you can backtrack to earlier branches and venture those ways. This is also all randomly generated, so, like, your mind will be different than someone else's and whatnot. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, and then it's just all quality of life stuff.
Sure.
So.
But yeah, it's cool though. That it's procedurally generated. It's really interesting, just because it's a smart way of adding more content than if they just made like a new area, because that's going to be like, you know, one set area. This allows you to just keep going and keep you busy for a while. But I think it's really cool. It's another reason for me to come back and play Path of Exile. It's one of those games that I'm never done with. I always play it for a while, then I come back or go away, and then I come back and play it some more.
Have to relearn it.
Have to relearn it, yeah. Or check what they've done with the massive skill tree in the game.
Oh yeah.
Every time I come back, I always have a fucking refund of all my points, and I'm just like, okay, time to start that again. So, which I appreciate. It'd be kind of fucked up if they changed the tree and didn't give me those points back. But it's cool. I'm excited for it.
I agree. I'm excited for it as well. I've seen other games implement this as well. In fact, Final Fantasy 14
seems to be very popular.
Yeah, implemented it does have an end, but it's like 200 floors. And then there are rewards, obviously, the deeper you go. And it's just neat. It's something else for you to do. So if you're tired of grinding out the same thing over and over again, it just gives you something else to do. And because it's random, it's going to feel different every time, which adds longevity. Is it like this amazing thing? I don't know what the rewards are, so I couldn't tell you that aspect.
I think that's where my apprehension is. I'm excited for it, but like I'm not like pumped for it because I don't know what the fuck I'm getting.
Right. And if it had something like, you know, obviously if the things that you get from it are like unique to it, that does add excitement, because you're getting trophies at that point, which
I would assume they would be
Oh,
unique to the place.
I would certainly hope so.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just a way to gear up.
Yeah. As far as like the challenge aspect though, you know, who knows like how hard it's going to get. Like hopefully they are taking like veteran players into consideration and actually throwing them into difficult situations, because in a game like this, in ARPGs in general, I mean, we've both been there, you get to a certain point where you're literally just melting everything in front of you.
Oh yeah.
So it'd be cool, especially for veterans, to be able to run into something where they're not just like walking all over it too. So that's another hope. But
it would be really odd if you kept going into an endless dungeon and it maintained the same difficulty, because it would lose any reason to continue, aside from just getting all the stuff you want to collect. But I can't imagine anybody doing that.
I can't either. I'm just hoping that the people who have put that much time into and have these crazy builds, like I hope they have planned for that to actually, like as it gets harder, actually present a challenge.
Unless it scales to, you know, what level you are, that'd be interesting. Or if the paths are just random in difficulty, and you get to one and you're just like, I can't do this, and you just back the fuck off until you can.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to wait and see, obviously, at the end of the month, but I am interested to see what it entails and how, like, progressing through it, because they, like I brought up earlier as well, that, you know, you can backtrack and take another path as well. So you can literally just kind of, I guess, spelunk to your heart's content.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are going to be spending a lot of time in this, and I think that's the point. I mean, I think that's why it merits expansion, because this adds, like I said, infinite amounts of different areas to go check out. I also like the visual aesthetic of it getting darker as you go deeper. That's kind of a claustrophobic
and
feeling.
Having to stay close to your minecart, because that's your light source.
Yeah, which is really cool. So August 31st.
Yep.
I keep forgetting the game's out for Xbox. I should download and try it sometime, although I will not be playing on there because I already have too much progress on PC. But I would be curious to see how it plays on there. Anything else you want to say on that?
No, that was a lot of ARPGs to talk about.
Yeah, I kept seeing the news, and there's all stuff I wanted to talk about. So there's a couple other minor things, but you know, for anyone who's into these games, you guys got a full conversation, and hopefully you also join the conversation. Let us know what you're thinking about any of these games. Let me know what you're thinking about Path of Exile. Are you currently playing it? Have you played it in the past? Have you never played it? Why haven't you played it? It's free. It's amazing.
There's something in this Delve expansion that wasn't in this article we should know about.
Yeah, tell us some stuff about the Delve expansion that we might have missed that could get us really excited for it. Yeah, that's going to do it for this episode of Tasty Tuesday on Tasty Loot Gaming. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check us out on Tumblr, Twitter, and Facebook at Tasty Loot Gaming. Check out my streams on Twitch and on this channel as well at Tasty Senpai, all one word. Hit the notification button to know when we go live, or I go live. Chris isn't here. And yeah, join the Discord. Link down below. Talk to us anytime, all the time. And check us out on Spotify, iTunes, and other podcast platforms. If you'd prefer to listen to us, you're on your way to work, you don't want to waste your fucking data, where the hell, you can listen to us. And if you want to watch us on YouTube, come check us out at Tasty Loot Gaming. But my name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
Until the next episode, which I got a couple things I am working on right now. So you might get another episode in a couple days. But until then, have a great week, guys, and take it easy.